G'day viewers, welcome back to the GameDay Squad Rugby League live show. We're here ahead of round 10, Magic Round, all games at Suncorp. It's going to be unreal. But of course, I'm joined by my co-host JT. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Gusty, man. 2 more sleeps. It's come around quick and can't wait to catch up with the boys, have a few beers and watch some footy.
100%, man. When do you get on the plane?
Early bells, man. Flying over from NZ. I think we're taking off about 6:45 in the morning, touchdown around about 8:30. Might get in some golf and then head out to the pub. We'll see how it goes.
How good, man. Love it. Love it. Good to see a couple of footy heads in the chat as well. We've had a bit from Cal and Tom. Those boys should be at Magic Round 2, so looking forward to seeing the gang. But of course, JT, we're brought to the people by GameDay Squad, which is a brand new way to play fantasy footy. It's where you can create, coach, and compete by building your fantasy side using digital assets. It's unreal, man. Last week was huge. Couple of players went off. We had Mitch Moses, who went absolutely bananas. Hopgood, he was always in the mix. Nico Hines doing good things as well. Who was the best player in your side last week?
For me, I missed the Moses train, but I was on. I had a platinum of Hines playing, and he didn't let me down. Cleary, he was a surprising success in a way. He was, I think, 5th ranked on the week for a half, but in those conditions and a losing performance and still knocking out 65, I still don't think you can go past those two in the halves, to be honest.
Yeah, man, 100%, 100%. Well, a couple of days out from Magic Round, plenty to talk through, mate. But we did see team lists come out yesterday afternoon. For anyone who's interested, I've actually jumped on and written a blog about it. So if you want to go and check that out and get my take on what's happening with the team list, by all means, check it out. But I'll kick things off here, JT. First game on Friday night, we've got the Doggies up against the Raiders. Both teams coming off real close wins last week. In terms of team news, Jacob Kiraz is back in the mix, and he's always got the potential to score well. Maxi King is back in the mix there as well. And we've got teen sensation Oluwapu coming off the bench. I'm really liking the look of Max King. He's been a good servant to my fantasy side in years gone by. But on the flip side, Xavier Savage back in for Canberra. Massive news, which sees Corey Harawira and Naira pushed to the reserves. Another Corey's been doing particularly well lately. It's Corey Horsburgh, more than 70 minutes in each of his last 3 games, and he's churning out some massive scores. So a couple of names to get behind there, but I think for this one, I think the Doggies are going to be too good. I think it's now or never for Matt Burton, and I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the Doggies to a big win.
Yeah, I can get on board with that call as well. The Raiders have been hit and miss. After their win against the Broncos, they have had a couple wins against the Dragons and the Dolphins down in Canberra. But yes, they've won on Suncorp already this season and generally do all right up there, which is quite surprising in my eyes. But the players I like the look of in this one, if anyone, is Jacob Kiraz. Because he could be a home run hit in that winger fullback, we can know he can almost knock out 100. But other than that, on the GDS side, Hudson Young, yeah, he's an option on the edge. Matt Timoko in the centres, who's been great all season. But I like a lot of the other options and other matchups to put in my squad this week.
Nice, man. Nice, man. Well, moving on next game, we've got Manly up against Brisbane under the Friday night lights. Should be a belter. There'll be plenty of support for the Bronx. But on the Manly side, a couple of changes there, man. So Tommy Turbo back in, Jake's out, Kepi's in. What are you liking in the Manly side and on the Broncos side as well?
Well, I like how Turbo's back. Injuries are, like I've said before, always a concern for him. He seems to be having a niggle every week at the moment. But he's a class player and he's always going to be in the conversation to make your starting side every week. I do like the form Hamoli is in at the moment. He's showing some great footwork down that right edge, and he has been able to cross for a try in the last couple of weeks. On the Broncos side, well, they're going to be so happy to have Mam and especially Haas back after serving suspension last week.
Huge, bro. Huge.
And I think coming off back-to-back losses at Suncorp, I think we're going to absolutely see a 13-plus, 20-plus victory of the Broncos. That's just my narrative for the week. And personally, I'm going to be having quite a few Broncos in my starting team this week just because I'm going to follow my narrative.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. Well, I've got a bit of narrative on the next one. This is the first Saturday game, 3 p.m. It's the Warriors taking on the Panthers. Now, Penrith are going to be rattled here. Don't get me wrong, but I reckon they're going to bounce back big time. Bit of narrative I'm chasing is Jerome Luai is going to show the world why he should be lining up next to Cleary in that New South Wales number 6 jersey. A lot of shade's been thrown his way, but I reckon Luai is going to bounce back big time.
Yeah, the pressure's on 100%, man.
Yeah, for sure. But on the Warriors side as well, we see Tohu Harris back in the mix. I wouldn't be chasing to get him in your side straight away because he is coming off a couple of knee injuries this year. Chance is back in the fullback jersey, and of course, we're seeing SJ do really cool things here this year. He's winding back the clock. But then I think this one's going to be all Penrith with Luai going absolutely crazy. I think at least a try, a couple of try assists. I think he's going to have a big one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring affair. I saw an article that was quoted in today that they're just going to be throwing out everything in attack this week. So I expect to see a very open game. And watching the Warriors play at Southern Corp last year in Magic Round, they came across the Bunnies and almost toppled them over. And I think the final score was something like 40 points to 32.
Huge.
So really high scoring. And we know Penrith got points, and the Warriors can put on the points as well. But yeah, Penrith for me in this one, and look out for the likes of Dylan Edwards, maybe to cross over. He's been out of form the last couple of weeks, but bounced back in the wet last week. And obviously the likely candidates of Yeo and Cleary as well to have a good showing.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. Well, next game on Saturday, Sharkies Dolphins. What's your read on this one, JT?
I think the Dolphins will be very happy to have a full house at Suncorp, even though that's not really the home ground, but they'll still get a great support there. But the Sharkies, they're just clicking at the moment, man. They welcome back Dale Fakani from suspension at the moment. And seeing Cameron McInnes, he's always been a favourite of mine, been an old dragon there, but I thought he might get the nod at 13 and Dale might move into the prop with Toby Rudolph out. But I just think they're going to be too good. Hines, I'm expecting another massive game for him. And I can only see the Dolphins getting up if the crowd really get behind them and they get a bit of momentum.
Yeah, man. Agree. I think of the Dolphins, a couple of cool inclusions that I'm liking, Tessie New and Anthony Milford, favourite sons of Brisbane. So I reckon the crowd will be getting behind them for sure. But, man, I agree. Sharky's going to be too good. We've got Finucane back, so we'll see that Finucane McGuinness middle rotation kind of come into play a bit. In saying that, fantasy-wise, those two guys probably will chill away at each other's minutes, but when they get together and work in the middle, always tends to be a good result for the Sharkies. So I think convincing win on the cards there.
Yeah, I just want to throw in about Connolly Lemuelu, just because in GDS he is a centre only and he plays on the edge. So
yeah, nice.
Whenever you come across players like that, there's quite good value around them in your starting side. So he could be a sneaky in for anyone's side this week if they feel so.
100%, man. Well, match of the round candidate here, Storm taking on the Bunnies on Saturday night. Man, this is going to be huge. Storm coming off the bye, so 1-17. Melbourne side is looking pretty similar to what faced up against the Warriors the other day, but I think those guys are going to be back with a vengeance. Grant Munster, expect them to do their usual things, but one I've got my eye on this week is Jerome Hughes. Kiwi number 7 loves these big affairs, so I think he's going to be up for it. But on the south side, Liam Knight back in the starting side. He had a little testing in the Reggies last week, but he's
been a while for him, man.
100% sure has, and points per minute, he can churn out some really big scores. But how can you look past Latrell? Like, he's been in such red hot form. These sort of clashes, he always gets piped up. So I could see him going absolutely crazy this week.
Yeah, I 100% agree as with you there. He was playing at Suncorp last week. They taught the Broncos a lesson. I found Latrell a bit of a hot and cold player against good sides and against poorer sides. He showed up last year and was good against like top teams and poor teams. This year he's burnt me because I had the same sort of thought that, yes, he won't go good against a great team, but he really turned it on a couple of weeks ago. Who did he play a couple of weeks ago? I think it was the Seagulls maybe, and he absolutely torched them. So I'm not getting off the trail anytime soon, man. He is my 1A winger fullback moving forward.
Love that, man. Love it. Alrighty, Sunday games, mate. They call this the GDS NRL Live Show Cup because my boys, the Tigers, are taking on your boys, the Red V. What's your take here, JT? Talk to me.
This might be the game that Hook gets hooked if we get the loss, to be fair. There's been rumours flying around for some time, but the writing's almost on the wall. Yeah, you read the media, there's a bit of support in there, but some big calls on that side this week, especially with the Lomax axing. Apparently he had a bit of a blow-up yesterday, and I can sort of understand why. He has missed a few kicks, but he's still good enough centre to put in that starting lineup, to be fair. Just take the kicking off him maybe, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, the Tigers, man, you should be like over the moon from their performance over in Bathurst, but I really think they can go back-to-back this week. How about you?
Buzzing, man. I'm in the same camp. I thought Clemmer, in particular, unsung hero from last week. I thought he did absolute bits. And how good's the young fella, Jareem Bula? He's not in GDS just yet, but when his card does come in the game, stay on the lookout because, gee whiz, he's showing some serious potential. But, man, I'm behind my boys, the Tigers here. I think fantasy-wise, you can't go too wrong with having IPAP in your back row either. Papali's just doing wild things at the moment, so certainly one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and with Buller, man, like from all reports, it seems like that's where the club is leaning for their future. I don't really know what's happening to Laurie. You'll know more on that side of things, but yeah, it seems to be their future and definitely a player to watch.
Nah, 100%. Mate, question for you that's coming in from the live chat. Doss has got involved and wants to know, is Lomax the worst kicker in the NRL? Are you taking that personally, JT?
Not really. I'm blaming the tea like everyone else at the moment. I can't believe it that you keep on hearing about this damn tea. But he's having a shocker with the boot, and it has cost him a couple of games and some close affairs in the last month. So, yeah, I don't want to stand by that comment, but I can't really argue it either.
Fair play, man. Fair. Well, our next game on Sunday, the Chookies are taking on the Cows. Should be an absolute ripper. I'm thinking of this one as a bit of an origin preview because Chookies are rolling out a heap of New South Wales stars, whereas the Cowboys are rolling out a bunch of Queensland players. Brandon Smith still in the lineup. He's been playing decent the last couple of weeks, but Jake Turpin is on the bench, so there may be some minutes management there. How good's Joey Manu doing? He's selectable at centre, so if you've got him in the mix, you've almost got to play him in your GDS team here, don't you reckon, JT?
Yeah, he's probably the first pick for my side while he's playing the halves every week at the moment. Outside of the likely candidates of Hines and Cleary, he's next on the list. You just can't look past him. The averages, I think it's good 30 points more in the halves over the centres. And if you don't have his card, I think you need to try and get it snapped up as quick as you can because, yeah, you'll be losing ground on the pack if you don't.
Yeah, man. I bought one last week. Good investment, I think. But on the Cowboys side, no Jeremiah Nanai, but Heilon Lukey is back in the mix. They're pretty comparable players, so I think that's just a straight in, straight out. But what I'm liking here, if the Cowboys can get a bit of good momentum happening, is Scott Drinkwater. I think when he's on a roll, he can really notch up those line breaks and those try assists. Loves them. So I think for coaches wanting to mix things up, worth a punt.
Yeah, no, he was in the top 5 at the beginning of the season for that position. After the suspension, he took a couple of quiet games to come back, but he seems to be hitting a stretch at the moment and putting a few good scores for people's teams.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, last game then. What a way this will be to wrap up Magic Round. It's the Gold Coast Titans taking on the Parramatta Eels. How are you seeing this one?
This is going to be really close, man. The Titans performed very well in Magic Round and upset my boys last year. Don't remember it fondly, but the trials were on my corner to steal the win for them. But they turn up, they get the crowd behind them. I love seeing Jaden Campbell at fullback. 100%. I don't know why they're playing him off interchange. I've heard it's because of his contract and what they've got to do in that area.
Yep.
But he really gets his opportunity here, and he could be a sneaky player moving forward. And he's so young. I've been looking for his card everywhere, trying to snap it up where I can. So he's definitely a player for the future. And you can't pass David Fifita as the top edge of the competition, man.
Man, at Suncorp, definitely not.
No, and I think this is going to be a good staging for him as an origin recall, possibly playing in front of a crowd like this. And Last week he scored his first try and he almost hit out, I think it was about 82, 83 points.
Yep.
He's just outstanding, and you can't not start him if you have him.
No, man. Agree. What about for Para? Liking anyone there?
Moses, but I feel like I can't even start him above Cleary and Hines, to be honest. He is known as a bit of a flat track bully at times. This game should be high scoring, and I want to just state that the weather looks great all weekend. This is the last game of the round, so we don't know what the pitch is going to be like. It might be a bit cut up by then, so he would be the starter I would have there. And Hopgood, he might be my sneaky second edge this week just because his minutes have increased without RCG in the team. I don't know what the rotation is going to be like with Matto on the bench and also the Cardi party. So that makes me a bit nervous, but I might have to pull the trigger on him.
Nah, man. I like the takes. I'm a little bit scared of Hopgood. He's in my team at the moment, but when the Cardi party and Matto are on the bench, there's going to be some minutes coming off him. But we'll see how that one pans out. But mate, speaking of absolute gun players, I know you've written a blog this week around the team to beat. Talk to us a bit about it. Tell us what your thoughts are.
I'm still working through the final pieces of the puzzle, and Hopgood versus IPAP is one of them. But starting at the top, I will. Do you want me to bring up my team now and just talk through that? Because most of the players that I have are in that.
Man, I'd love it. Let's loop it in.
So these are the players that I'm looking at starting at the moment. Still undecided of the rarities in certain positions, but this gives you a pretty good idea. So at the top, I've got Harry Grant. He's my 1A hooker. Cook has been off form this year. Robson's been inconsistent. You've got other candidates like Marshall King has the odd game, and Brayley at the Sharks is putting a few good games together, but it's Grant for me in that position. Haas, I think Haas is going to be absolutely fired up in front of this full crowd. I think I'm going to be playing in Platinum this weekend, expecting some extra minutes just because he had a week off. Murray, I'm nervous about him, man. He's just been out of form. How are you feeling about Murray at the moment?
Man, I think it's the time of year where he comes good in the lead up to Origin. I think those consistent minutes are going to be really important for him to get in his swing. Yeah, he has been a bit hot and cold, as we've spoken about last week, but I think he's coming good.
Yeah, no, I've got to have him on my side. I just don't want him missing 80 when he could easily bang one out against the Storm. He's just standard tackle machine, man. Easily the link man in that Penrith midfield, and against the Warriors, like you said, I think they're going to struggle. He might even get over for a meat pie in that one.
Love that.
Moving on to my edges, Dave Fafita, set and forget. Not sure on the rarity, but I think I'm going to play in Platinum there this week. Hopgood, he's in there at the moment. He might swap out for IPAP, maybe even Nakora. Hines, Cleary, set and forget. Don't need to say anything more about those two. I do have Moses on the bench, but I don't expect I'll have to use him. Manu, like I said earlier, he is set and forget in the centres, just while playing in the halves. I'm actually tossing up in the centre position, and this is the second centre is usually where I struggle a little bit.
Yep.
I've gone for Graham, but he is in a tough matchup against the Storm. My next consideration is Herbie Farnworth, just surrounding my Broncos narrative. I think he can cross over for a couple of tries just because Manly don't defend that well down that edge, and they have been found out, so he could be a late inclusion for me.
Yeah, man. And how well have he and Reece Walsh been linking up, particularly in the early stages of this year? They were doing good things.
They absolutely have. And with Mam in the halves, he just puts on a good ball. He's already running the inside channel or feeding it on to Farnworth. Tries galore, in my opinion. Moving on to the fullbacks, I've got Reece Walsh, Latrell Mitchell, and Dylan Edwards. Latrell, set and forget, he's a goal kicker. They've been able to put on a lot of points against decent sides. So the only concern about him is he was on single digits at halftime last week, and he absolutely blitzed in the second half. So that does make me a little bit nervous, but that's what winger fullbacks can do. Walsh is no exclusion to that. Edwards is no exclusion to that. None of them are really. So it's the risk you take in that position.
100%, man. Got to ride the wave, and I think in that team there's enough consistent players to smooth things out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just gone for matchups for Walsh and Edwards. First into the Warriors and Seagulls that have been struggling in the last couple of weeks. I just think there's going to be points galore for the Broncos and the Panthers. So they both make my starting team this week.
Nice, mate. I love it. Give me a projected GDS score. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'd love to say over 1,000, man. That's a bit hopeful, but anything 850 plus, I'll be rather happy with, mate.
Nice, man. Can't complain. Alrighty, mate. Moving on. Time for a quick game before we get on to our live pack opening. It's on for a little bit of start, sit, and show the door. Why we play this one? Rattle off 3 players each, and the other person has to choose who they're starting in their side, who they're sitting on the bench, and who they are giving the can. JT, do you want to start us off here?
Yeah, man. I will go back to the Murray train, and outside of Haas and Yo, which I think are the top 2 middles at the moment, if you were going to be dropping Murray, would you rather have Murray starting or Adam Fanua-Blake?
Man, Fanua Blake was unreal last week. And when he gets fired up and passionate, he plays his best footy. But I think you just got to go with that Murray consistency. Tohu Harris back in the mix for the Warriors as well. Probably eats away at a few of Adam's minutes there. So I think it's got to be Murray.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
But
there,
if I had to start and sit the others, you got to start Payne Haas back on after a week off, and Yo's on the bench. But 2 eligible starters, man.
Yep. No, couldn't agree
Cool,
more.
man. Well, talking about some centres, I know you showed us who's in your team earlier, but if we're talking Dane Gagai, Campbell Graham, or Herbie Farnworth, how are you going to handle those guys? That's assuming Joey Manu's occupying the other centre spot.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I've got Gagai on the interchange at the moment, mainly because he's on bye this week. But any other week, he is an eligible starter. But between Graham and Farnworth, 1 minute it's Graham, 1 minute it's Farnworth. But I think I'm leaning Farnworth at the moment just because of the matchup. And Olam, he can break a tackle. He's going to be up against Graham, so he is one of the best defensive centres in the game. And I reckon the sky's the limit for Graham this year, but this matchup, I prefer Herbie.
Yep, nice. Have you got another one for me?
Yeah, I'll go into the edge position. Yep. We'll go for Hopgood, as he absolutely peaked last week with a score with Matto out with the flu. Can he do it again, or would you put an IPAP against the Dragons?
Man, if it was one or the other, I think I've got to go IPAP this week. I maybe a bit of a Tigers bias there, but I am a long-time IPAP searcher in GDS. So if I got the chance to include him in my side, I'd take that with 2 hands, man.
Yep. No, it's still a coin flip for me. It's just because IPAP's been a little bit inconsistent this year, but he does offer a good base, and more than likely he's going to be playing the 80 when you're not too sure on Hopgood. So I do love the show.
Yeah, nice, man. Righty, last one for you here, talking about some halves, and we're taking Nathan Cleary and Nico Hines out of the equation here for those people who might not be fortunate enough to own one of their GDS cards. If you're looking at Mitch Moses, Jerome Luai, and Daly Cherry Evans, how are you going to handle those guys?
Going by the form, I'll be starting Moses this week above those other 2, just because DC is coming against, I think, an absolutely prepared Broncos team. If it wasn't that matchup, I'll probably go DC just because he seems to be a bit more consistent. But Moses, he's my 3rd best half this week with DCE behind him in 4th. Luai, I do like your hot take on him, and I do think he can knock out a 50 plus, but he just doesn't get the kick meters of the likes of Cleary. On attack, I think he'll get the points, but just he doesn't generate that base like those kicking halves like Moses and DC does.
Yeah, man. No, agree. Well, man, that brings us to near the end of our show. Now, my favorite segment here, and something I'm very excited for, is our live pack opening, followed by me getting to force you to sell one of the cards which you end up pulling. Now, JT, I opened a pack last week, so this week it's you. What pack have you got there ready to open?
I've got a common 9-pack this week, so yeah, that's I've got a few more bullets to dodge of those diamonds that you put. Great to pour diamond out of a 3-pack last week.
Common
so
as well.
Hopefully I do get a diamond. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully I do get a diamond this week. But hey, who knows if I'll be able to keep it after last week.
Man, and stoked to see the live chat heating up. People are starting to get a little bit excited about this pack opening. So let's keep it rolling.
So out of the sort of pack, who would you be wanting to see from a capped player? What sort of card would you be hoping to pick out of this?
Well, man, if I'm a capped player, I think highest rarity you probably want to be playing is a platinum. Anyone at that level you'd love to have in your team. So obviously starting at the top, Nico Hines, you couldn't turn him down, could you? The form he's in, the run the Sharkies have, even the question marks around him for Origin, just makes him such a good asset to have in your team right now, but even for the run home too.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more, mate. Well, shall we get this kicked off?
Yeah, man, let's kick it off. And I just want to remind you, nothing you can do about it, but there's one player out of here that we're going to sell. We're listing them on the transfer market for 99 cents. So I wonder if there'll be someone lucky out there getting a Hines or a Cleary or something.
Yep, and I'll be putting that up after the show. So
love that.
Let's crack on with it.
Good stuff. Away we go.
So let's do it.
Now, keeping an eye out for the animation here.
Yes.
All right.
Ooh, there's no diamonds on that one at the moment. So I think I'll have a look at them. So we've got a silver here. We've got a gold, silver, silver, and a silver. So I'll start turning over the silvers first, then finish with the golds.
Nice. And good bright Nakora.
That's a real tidy card to
100%.
have. It's especially in the form he's in, mate. Pereira, it's not really looking at the Broncos at the moment.
Oh, Moses, the form he's in, man, far out.
What have we got here? DeBellum. Oh, we haven't spoken about him. How do you feel about him?
Man, I am loving DeBellum. I'm playing him at the moment. I think last few weeks he's been class. He's just getting really big minutes. So while he sees those big numbers, expect big scores.
Yeah, and with the interchange, he's still going to keep getting that rotation, I think, and those big minutes.
100%.
Cardi Party, he's back.
All right, you're down to your golds now.
Tuolangi, good future prospect.
100%.
Musgrove, Garner, and Asako, who's been showing some good form this year.
Mate, some good cards there. Pretty solid pack. I think, obviously unlucky to only get your silvers and golds out of the common, but that's the way the odds fall. Now. Which sailor? Which sailor are we forcing? Man, I want to give the people a chance to get a hold of an informed player at the moment, someone who's going to be awesome throughout the Origin period. Mitch Moses. I think we want to get him listed on the TM for 99 cents.
Yeah, I think that's the best shout of that bunch. Other likely candidates could have been Nakora, maybe a Sarko or a DeBellum, but I think, that's the card that people would want.
Yeah, man. Oh, well, sorry to do you dirty there, JT, but that's how the cookie crumbles, mate.
Good, mate.
Getting back at you after last week.
Fair, mate. Fair.
Good stuff. All right, mate. Well, we'll wrap things up there, but what a weekend of footy we have ahead of us. Stoked to be going to Magic Round. Never been before, so super excited for that. And keen to see you there, man. Can't wait to share a beer with you.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be an epic weekend, man. Don't think I'll be missing a minute of footy unless it's getting beers or whatever it is. But, I think there'll be a few pre-beers and after beers and heaps more beers. See how it goes.
You're not wrong. Righty, man. Well, good luck in your GDS fantasy side this week. You've been killing me week to week for the past couple of rounds, but hopefully I can get one back at you.
No, good luck, man. And, all the best for Magic Round, and we'll see you over there.
Thanks, man. And cheers to all our viewers who got involved through the chat today. Love your work. Always makes the show 10 times more fun. So let's keep it up, and we'll catch you next week.